What is up, A-Team? Welcome back. AuzSOME here. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. So we're here to talk more about XRP. We're here to talk more about RLUSD. And the reason why is because there's just a lot of people out there that are basically spreading their opinions as to what roles are going to be in XRP. And some people are thinking that really XRP is going to just be reduced to a transaction fee. That's kind of all it's going to be. And as you can see right here, that's kind of the tabloids that are out there. And that's basically the messaging from some people of what's going to happen here. And you can see right here that they're afraid that the RLUSD will actually replace that of XRP. Because as you guys know, the whole goal of XRP was to allow for cross-border payments to work out and be fast and secure and all that kind of stuff, which it still is. However, RLUSD has come into the picture here. As you guys know, it recently launched earlier this year, and everyone was pretty excited about it. But you had these pundits come out here and basically say that they think that XRP is being replaced. And like it says right here, that XRP is now primarily serving the function of a transaction fee on the XRP ledger, with RLUSD taking over the broader utilities such as liquidity, cross-border transactions, retail and institutional settlements, and multi-fiat onboarding. And so when you really think about it, I guess I've always anticipated that's kind of what RLUSD's role was going to be. So I don't think this is any new news to me, even though people are thinking that like XRP was going to be that. But just to put this in, like, just to make sense of this, like if you're going to move millions and millions and millions of dollars across a blockchain, you're not going to move it into a coin or a token that has volatility to it, right? I mean, you just wouldn't do that because by the time it reaches the other side, who knows what the price of that token and or coin would be. So you have to move it into some form of stable coin to move it across, if you're going to move it across border or anything you want to do with it, so that when it comes out the other end, you put $1 million in, you're going to get $1 million on the other side. Whereas if you move it into XRP, you don't know what it's going to be outside. You put $1 million in, and by the time it reaches the other side here, within seconds, the price could actually be less, and now you're only pulling out $900,000. Like that's my mindset as to. I don't know where they got this, where they were thinking it was going to go into XRP, because that just would never make sense in my brain. And maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but that's just my opinion here. So I guess I always thought that XRP was going to serve as a transaction fee and or the what's going to actually move your money across the blockchain, just like we see in Ethereum, just like we see in BNB. Anytime you move something across that blockchain, you're using BNB or Ethereum as the gas to allow that transaction to move across the blockchain seamlessly. Like, I think that's very basic blockchain 101. So when I read this kind of stuff, I kind of chuckle at it because, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I don't think it's reduced the role. That's just been the role. And I mean, again, maybe I'm looking at this completely wrong, but I just think that like what they're trying to say here is just, I think that they might have thought something differently. And what I've always thought was going to be is exactly what's happening right now. So that's, again, just my opinion here. But I guess that this is what their concerns are here, and it says RLSD is becoming the preferred asset for virtually all other functionalities on the XRPL, despite XRP being the default bridge asset. Again, it is the default bridge asset. It's what's going to move it across. But again, if you are an investor, if you are an institution, if you're anyone sending money across, you're not going to put it into a highly volatile crypto or just a crypto that has some volatility, because you want the full asset to keep the current value of where it's at coming out the other side. So like it just does not make sense to me logically. But you're going to have people out here who obviously thought this. They bought into XRP thinking that XRP was going to be, everything. And in all reality, it just doesn't make sense if you think about it like that. So it says, notably, these concerns have surfaced as RLUSD continues to gain traction. Since its launch in December of 2024, RLUSD has surged in popularity, recently earning a listing on Gemini. Again, it's been great. You can see right now, I mean, it's sitting here roughly at what, 316 million in terms of market cap. It's doing over 189 million right now. So obviously RLUSD is gaining traction. I mean, right now they are actually out there trying to acquire Circle so that they have even more grip on the stablecoin market. And again, if Ripple actually acquires Circle, it will be the biggest game changer in crypto that I've ever seen. I mean, their whole goal of trying to just acquire these giant companies to overtake crypto, it's great. I mean, I talked about this live on stream the other day about how they're taking the SoftBank strategy, and I think that's exactly what they're doing here, right? They're just going to go out and acquire these companies to help push along their agenda of what they're trying to do here. And I'm on board with that. Like, I think that should happen. And again, even from a USDC standpoint, if they were actually to acquire Circle, you would be using XRP to actually push USDC across the ledger, which again would just bring up the value of XRP. So I guess I'm not really understanding these people's concerns, and maybe someone has to tell me otherwise. But how I'm viewing it is exactly how I always thought it was going to be. And it says right here, others will disagree. Not all community members share this these pundits' position here. And it says RLUSD is likely the first in a series of regional stablecoins, including potential versions like RLGB, which is like the British. You got Euro, the Euro, and then you got the Japanese. So there's like a bunch of other stablecoins that are going to come out here, which again would be used to be moved across RL, which would be moved across the Ripple net, and XRP would actually be fueling that. So I mean, it's just kind of crazy how we think about this. But it says, meanwhile, they are suggesting that XRP's value lies in its behind the scenes role as the silent backbone of tokenized finance, which again is like every other blockchain. I mean, you go look at Ethereum, go look at BNB, Solana, all these other blockchains, all their coins are the backbone to their blockchain. Like that's what moves things across it. So it's making me frustrated to even think that people are trying to bring this up and cause some FUD within the community here as to what RLUSD and Ripple are. And it's just, maybe not fully educated as to what it's going to be. Again, I'm not going to attack the person here. Her name is Eleanor, I think is her. Yeah, Elena Schoen. I don't even know who that is, but she's the one coming out sort of pressing this. And unfortunately, I just think it's kind of crazy to like not have that thought process. But and it says right here that the Ripple executives actually came out multiple times and said that like they were going to work together. David Schwartz actually explained that stablecoins like RLUSD are important for maintaining pricing consistency and minimizing volatility, which is exactly what I said, which is exactly what he's been saying for years. So it's not like this is brand new. This is something we've all knew was going to come down the turnpike here. He said, however, he did indicate that XRP maintains an important role with the XRPL through advanced features like pathfinding and auto bridging that favor its liquidity. So, I mean, there's other things outside of just being the transaction fee here. So you have someone out here who's the developer behind this, who is saying this is exactly what XRP is going to be. It's not just for transactions, although that's a big portion of it. It's also going to be for other things. Schwartz also stressed in October 2024 that RLUSD could not replace XRP due to the latter unique properties, including the transaction fees, obviously, because it's the blockchain. It's what fuels the blockchain. You're not going to go replace that with a stable coin. Plus, I don't think I've actually seen a blockchain that runs on a stable coin. Maybe there's one out there. And if there is, let me know. I'd love to sort of see what it is. But, it's immunity to freezing and it's independence from jurisdictional constraints. So that's another thing, right? If we get a stablecoin act out here or anything that's, putting pressure on stablecoins, you're not going to be able to use the ledger like you thought you were going to be able to use it. So again, XRP plays that role. So you need these two separate roles. And I guess the whole goal of this video is just to come out here and tell you guys my opinions on this, and that you're starting to see a lot more people talk about this. And I just think it's crazy because like, I don't know where you think that like you wouldn't move money. You wouldn't put millions of dollars into XRP to move it across the blockchain and hope that you get $1 million at the other end. It's too volatile. There's too many ups and downs, too many people shorting it, too many people longing it. And yeah, this is crypto. But if you move it into a stable coin, you're going to get the same value out the other side. I can't stress that enough. So, again, I think this is super important to sort of reiterate here, because people that are getting into XRP are starting to feel like, well, crap, well, maybe the XRP is not going to be as valuable as it once was. Well, just realize that XRP is still valuable to the RippleNet. Like, it's the most valuable thing that they have right now. And the more that these stable coins like RLUSD, hopefully Circle, come into Ripple itself, I think that we're going to see more XRP used than ever before. And that's what we really want, especially if you own XRP. You just want them to be using XRP to make transactions happen and help move things across the blockchain seamlessly, which is the whole goal. And so the more that we have money coming onto the chain, the more XRP will have in terms of value, because it'll be moving things across the blockchain. So that's really the goal here. And that's how we're going to actually get to the $20 that we're all talking about, right? Everyone this last couple of days talking about how can XRP get to $20? Well, that's how it's going to be done. I mean, you need more transactions in stablecoin to be moved across the blockchain so that more XRP is used to then cause the value to go up. So that's pretty as simple as it gets. I mean, honestly, that's as simple as it gets. But to each your own on this. Maybe I'm looking at this completely wrong. I don't think I am. I think I'm actually looking at it correctly, because I'm reading between the lines here of what Schwartz is saying and has always said for the last few years on where RLUSD stands. So, but with all that, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that XRP is going to be deminimized due to RLUSD, growth and popularity? Do you think RLUSD is going to replace XRP? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. So please leave any comments, questions, or concerns down below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. With all said, we're out. Peace out, everyone.